Good morning, boys and girls. It's a fucking glorious day. Look at that, which is perfect. It means it's really warm today. Well, I've just spent the last 3-4 hours masking up the GTC. So yeah, as you would have seen in yesterday's video, we got this all sandblasted down, cleared down, etc, 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 ready for primer. And I have just started mixing up some primer ready to go, and I thought I'd better update you before I put some paint on. So excuse me. So yeah, I've masked off all of the body best I can, and I think I've been fairly thorough with it. So we've just got the outer sills, the outriggers that support the seats, front chassis legs, front box section, etc, etc on show. I've masked all the body off. Up in the engine bay, all the floor pans underneath here. Now obviously up to where this blue sheet is, we've already painted, so we painted that when we did the back end. So we just need to do the front forwards all the way up to here. I've managed to get the car right up in the air as well, just give myself a bit of extra room. The bay's all masked off, best I can do. This is the front bumper nose cone support, so we've got that cleaned off, and I've hung that off this ladder. And I've masked up the ladder to try and protect it a bit, but it is going to get some on it, it's inevitable. So I've got that hung up. Cleaned all the garage out, blown all the dust out best I can with the airline, all that good stuff. I will drop the doors down before I start, just to stop any extra wind and dust and crap coming in. And as we did last time, and I can't remember whether we filmed it last time or not, I don't think I did, but as for last time, we are using the Raptor 2-part bed liner. So we've got a grey epoxy primer to go on first, and then we've got the Raptor bed liner to go on, which I ordered yesterday. It was meant to turn up today. It did turn up today, just at my house, not the garage, because I forgot to change the delivery address. So but I have got to wait. I'm fairly sure it says on the back of here, top coat time without sanding 1 hour to 7 days. So basically I've got an hour, 2 hours between putting this on and then putting the top coat on. So I'm thinking, get this on and then I'll drive back to mine quickly, grab that U-Pole, grab the Raptor, probably some lunch at the same time, and go from there. So this is 4 to 1. I've gone a little bit over the line, so I'll just make sure I go a little bit over the line. I'm going to bang the hardener in there, get it in the gun, which is up there. I've not actually set the gun up. I might do that before I put the hardener in, otherwise I'll be racing against time. I am going to use the old Clark gun. It's got the bigger nozzle, and this stuff is thick. It's not very nice to spray on, to be honest. It goes on like porridge, so I'll use the old gun. Don't want to be putting this through that new gun, and go from there. So right, I should really just stop waffling and crack on, shouldn't I? So that is what we shall do. I shall catch you in a minute. Look at them clouds! Summer has finally arrived. Probably will be about a day, but there we go. Anyway, primered. Don't really know what I was about to say it, to be honest with you. Like I say, it paints fucking horribly, this stuff. I don't know if it comes across on the film very well. It comes out like, I don't know what it comes out like. It comes out like porridge. Loads of little little runs and bits and pieces on it, but to be honest, once the Raptor goes on, because the bed line is textured, it all covers just as well anyway. So yeah, basically, yeah, all primered. So I'm gonna let this dry, and I mean, to be honest, it's tacky already. So I'm gonna let this set for the next couple of hours. We've got the nose cone support done as well. So that's all happy days. I'm gonna let this set for a couple of hours. I'm gonna go have some lunch. I'm gonna go home. I might even have a half-time shower. I'm gonna go home, have some lunch, probably pick up some beers. I fancy some beers now the sun's out. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? And then pick up the Raptor from my house whilst I have some lunch, and then back down the workshop this afternoon to get some Raptor on it. And then the really exciting stuff happens, because once the Raptor's on, we can start bolting all the running gear back up, get it back down on its wheels, primer the engine, paint the engine, put the engine in, fit everything back up to the engine, and turn the key. And yeah, basically I worked it out the other day. We've got about 5 weeks before this needs to be at a show. So we are, as always, I mean, we're making a bit of a habit of it, aren't we, really? But yeah, as always, we are on quite a tight deadline. Fiesta has got a show in 2 weeks, and well, I don't even know what I'm doing with that yet, but there we go. Right, lunch break. See you in a minute. Well, there you go. I told you I fancied a beer, didn't I? So, basically, yeah, went for lunch, went and got some beers, came back. The primer that we put on was dry but still a bit soft, so I thought I'd give it another couple of hours. It's now been, it's been the best part of 3.5 hours. To be fair, since we painted it, so it is now fairly dry and about ready for a coat of Raptor. As you can probably hear, the compressors are running up, so I'm just running them up now to pressure. Whilst I was doing all of that, as you have just seen in my wonderful time lapse, I have created a strut brace. So yeah, I thought I'd crack on and finish off where I'd got to with this yesterday whilst I was waiting for that stuff to dry off a little bit more. So I got it stitch welded. Apparently I can't count my dabs very well because they're all, I mean, these ones are kind of consistent. That one's very short and that one's really long. Overall they're not too bad. I mean, like I say, I am no expert welder, but for the hobbyist I think that's fairly decent. Yeah, stitch welded that all up, got my holes cut out. I haven't got a dimple die that will fit this because of the bars, so I've just cut it out with a hole cutter and kind of clean the edges up best I can. I'm going to paint this, so hopefully once it's painted you kind of won't notice the, people you can't really see it on the camera, but just where I've deburred the edges there's a sort of a little bit of inconsistency in the holes. But yeah, apart from that, all pretty good. So I will probably sandblast this because I'm trying to clean all of this up in here. Bless me. Trying to clean all this up in here is going to be an absolute nightmare, so I might just give that a quick once over with a sandblaster just to get it all cleaned up and get coat primer on it. Still not sure what I'm doing with it in terms of colour yet. I haven't got any of the grey for the engine bay left. I don't think I want to do it in wrinkle finish black like I did the other stuff because I'm not sure I really like that turbo housing that colour, so that might end up getting taken out and sandblasted or solar blasted. But yeah, basically I'll get it in some primer and then I'll have a think about what I'm going to do with the old colours on it. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to crack on and get some Raptor on the bottom of this car, on the bottom of the GTC, and then once that's done I will look at offering this up for a final fitment. I hope it hasn't warped too much. I don't think it has because I tried to do every other joint and then give it a minute and then go back and do every other on the way back. So I tried to, distribute the heat the best I could. But yeah, we'll give that a fit up and see, make sure it still fits, make sure it's not warped, etc, etc. And then once it does we can clean that up and prime it. But looking like we are definitely going to get a coat of Raptor on here, so it's looking like we might actually make our achievement of getting the the wheels back on the car by the end of the week. So right, I'm just going to stop waffling because I am waffling, and I'll catch you in a minute. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the evening and sun's still out. Right, so I've undersealed I've raptored the bottom of the car. I've also raptored the back of my head as well. I mean, I know I'm going bald up top, but I don't think that's going to really help. But yeah, it looks pretty good to be honest with you. So give you a little show of what we've got. So yeah, fully wrapped it up. Yeah, it came out really well, really happy with it. There's a little piece just on the other side of here that you can see it's just the primer shining through. Now I have got some leftover textured black that we use the rock covers in, so probably I'll cover that with that just to blend it in basically and give the primer a top coat. I mean, it's all primed and rust free, so we'll give it a top coat and I think that will do it. So yeah, plan is leave this for another, I mean it's been about an hour since I did it. It is dry, like it's finger touch dry. I think I'll give it another half an hour and then I'll start unmasking everything. With this Raptor, where you spray over the edges, I like to unmask it before it's really dry. Otherwise when you peel the masking tape it can like flake the paint off or flake the Raptor off as you do it. So wait till it's still soft and then it sort of splits the line really nicely. So give that another half an hour and the old man to get all this all stripped down and unmasked. I think I showed you this the other day, but it's out in the daylight. Engine's coming along in really nicely. Still didn't fit that today, but we'll do that tomorrow. Plan is to come down tomorrow, now the Raptor's on, to come down tomorrow and start fitting running gear again straight away. So by the end of the day tomorrow, this should be back down on all 4 wheels, and then we can start, basically we start masking it all up again for the engine bay. Basically, it's primer up the base. We can start priming up the masking up the chassis to primer up the engine bay, and then I need to go get some paint mixed for it. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but we are changing the colour of this. We are going to go back to the original red. May or may not have mentioned that previously, but obviously the car is black at the moment. It's been black most of its life. It's not the original colour. We are going to go back to the original colour, of which there is some remnants of in this boot here. So I'm going to take this boot lid off tomorrow and take this down to the paint shop and see if we can't get a reasonable, I mean, I know it's a bit crappy under there, but see if we can't get a reasonable hit on the gun, on the old paint finder gun, to get us a pot made up and get the engine bay all cleared up and primered and painted back in its red form. I have test fitted my strut brace and it does fit, which is wonderful. I forgot to show you that, and before I got handy with the primer can, but I have got this all primed up now, and it is looking wonderful. It's looking like pretty much just like I wanted. I think the ends could have maybe been a bit better, but to be perfectly honest, in the whole scheme of things, it's looks pretty good and it does the job. So yeah, along with the strut brace are adjustable top mounts for camber and caster. Although, well, like I say, these only do camber, but because we've drilled these on an offset, not straight, you naturally introduce caster as you introduce camber, so it kind of works on a, I'd say a 1-to-1 ratio, but we weren't that scientific with it. We just drilled the holes and we'll introduce some sort of caster as we introduce some sort of camber. I need to get it obviously set up on a set of jigs and scales and whatnot, but that will come. So yeah, I'm going to tidy up. I'm going to go home and I'm going to enjoy the rest of the evening in the garden with the kids and a beer and whatnot, and go from there. So yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe. More skim content coming well, at you tomorrow, I guess, really, when we start getting all the running gear bolted back up and bits and pieces, and go from there. I might even, tomorrow evening, if we get time, Reynolds will probably come down the, Dean will probably come down the workshop tomorrow, so I might even, if we get time, once that's dry, get that bolted up. We might even have a play at trying to straighten these up a little bit in terms of the tracking and whatnot, and might even take that for a quick spin around the corner. It's been a while since I've driven it. But yeah, all good, pretty much, all good. List of things to come on this. I do need to sort the windows out. I've got some new windows from Steve, so shout out for them. Cost me the whole but a Herbie's Diner breakfast for these. The only downside is the quarter lights don't fit because they're designed to fit with the standard rubber. So I have ordered a sheet of bronze plastic, and we'll make up some quarter lights with a piece of trim. So I've got to get those done, and then I want to remove my resonator. So yeah, I want to cut the resonator off. The resonator on this, if you remember rightly when we made the exhaust, is about 24 inches long. And I feel like it takes a little bit of the sportiness out of the exhaust sound and makes it a bit dull. So I'm going to take the resonator out and see how it sounds. Worst case scenario, I'll just weld the resonator back in. So we've got to do that, and then I want to take all the fuel system out and remount all of that on rubbers because it rattles like buggery, and it just annoys me when I drive the car. So but that will all come in time, before the next video, before the next car show in 2 weeks. But yeah, so wrapped it up, good to go, front and back. We'll get the running gear back on this tomorrow, drop it all down, get it ready for paint. We'll get some primer on it, might even get some primer on it tomorrow evening if all goes well, and go from there. So right, I'm going to stop waffling. I'll see you later on the next one. Ta-da.